why did Windows phones become obsolete so fast? And it really became evident that I don't think a lot of people realize the real backstory of why Windows phones aren't, why they went extinct. And it comes to the point of, in 2007, when the iPhone was first released, it gained and garnered a lot of attraction. Like, a lot of people were like, what is this new phone? It has this cool thing. Everybody had an iPod at the time, so it was pretty much like the most hyped thing that you possibly could hear about. And with a $600 price tag with the contract, it made it so that it was a very exclusive type of product. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody was going to be able to afford that. And even if you were, of a wealthier mindset, you were like, well, do I really need an iPhone? I don't know. And this sparked the dawn of Android, which came out about the same time, 2007, 2008, it's debatable. And this was more of a more conscious, budget-friendly version of the iPhone, which in a lot of ways had a lot more functionality than iPhones, and it was more inclusive. It was more for everybody, not just the elites or not just business people. Like, Android was literally for everybody. Everybody had an Android phone. So they both had great market shares and great, different target audiences. And when Windows came into the game, it was kind of its own little niche, because if you think about it, iOS has one market, Android has another market, but what does Microsoft have? And yes, you could say, a lot of people could say, well, Microsoft has the kind of appeal and allure of all the people who use their computers and stuff. And yeah, that is true. Why wouldn't you want a phone that is like your computer? Maybe they can sync up and talk to each other and stuff. But see, that's where they really, really failed at. Because by going against Apple and Google, they're now ostracizing themselves to all types of developers. And what really killed the Microsoft market is the fact that you're going against Google, because Google owns Android. So when Google doesn't help you out, because obviously they're not going to help out their competition, in this case, some people are going to say, why do they help out Apple? Well, there's a whole different reason, right? Google's basic strategy in cases like this is, do we help you or do we hurt you, right? And in some cases, they realize that a market is so powerful that they can't destroy it at this point. So now they're like, we're going to help you because we're going to make a huge profit off of that helping. And then in another scenario, they realize, well, you're weak enough that I can just kill you off or buy you off, right? And in the case of Microsoft, they realize, we're just going to kill you off. We already have a pretty good market share. Apple has a good market share, and Apple controls every facet of their technology, from the hardware to the software, which is perfect for Apple because they don't really need Google, right? They have Siri for their AI. They have Yahoo for their search engine. At one point, they switched to Microsoft with Bing. It was hilarious, actually, because it was kind of this meme where you could actually search on your iPhone, I think it was like 4, and you could say, what's the best phone right now? And it would actually say a Microsoft phone, because obviously Bing is owned by Microsoft. So they realized that they could just easily take Microsoft out of the equation, and they did. So the way that they did it was, they said, we're not going to give you any of our Google services. We're not giving you the Google Maps. We're not giving you Google Hangouts. We're not giving you Google Talk at the time. We're not giving you Google Pay, weather, search, anything. If you want to go against us, you have to go against us on your own fruition. And you don't realize how crucial that is to a company like that. When Google backed out of that, Apple, of course, they're like, we are your competition as well. We're not helping you out of that either. And then when you think about it, this scarcity made it so that developers did not want to develop for Microsoft either. And that's why, if you notice, if you ever held a Microsoft phone or used one, it doesn't have a lot of apps in the store, like in terms of popular apps like Twitch or YouTube or Facebook, Instagram, social media, or even any of the popular apps that you probably use on a daily basis. It just doesn't have those. And it's because if you're an app developer, you're not going to develop an app for a phone that holds so small of the market share. Even when Microsoft first started making phones, they only had 12% of the market. 12%! That's it sounds big, but it's not big in the terms of that's their starting point. That was their highest point. They kept declining and declining and declining from that point to the point where they didn't have basically any market share. And if I'm a developer, I'm not going to develop a product for the 2% of the market. You know what I mean? It's pointless when I can make a lot bigger of a profit investing more of my resources in iOS and Android, which are going to give me a way bigger return on investment. So when you really want to know the real reason why Windows failed as a phone manufacturer, is because they didn't have the resources and development help from all of the big name companies and even the smaller companies that didn't want to work with them. They didn't want to pony out the, I don't know, X amount of hundreds of thousands of dollars to the social medias of the world and these companies that were incentivized to not develop for them. If Apple's like, hey, you're gonna get a good cut from us, and Android with Google is like, you're gonna get a good cut from us, why would I develop for Microsoft? I'm not gaining any money, and really, it would just be to have a better, a wider range of audience. It's not profitable for anybody to develop for Microsoft, and since they didn't have any help, they're gonna fail. So. This is another Kai talk. Just wanted to talk to you guys. If you didn't already, hit the subscribe button. I'll probably make more videos like this in the future. And write a like, maybe a comment, something like that. And you guys have an aqua day.